Here's Jim Bob to make a nonsensical argument against naturalism.
Question is a tornado, as an effect of physics, truer than an earthquake if they're both just pure effects?
That would be hard to discern. When we say that a claim or a belief is true or false, we are saying that it does or does not convey accurate information about what it's trying to portray. We don't typically apply those terms to all events, but there are many events that we could say are more true or less true than others in the sense of how much information and what kind of information we can glean from them. Tornadoes and earthquakes have causes, and their manifestation gives us information about those causes. When we see a tornado, we can discern from its size, location, etc., what the air pressure and temperature around it are within a ballpark figure. With earthquakes, we can infer things like tectonic pressure. One could say that tornadoes are more or less true than earthquakes in the sense that one of them could convey information about their causes more accurately or precisely than the other.
Yeah, they're just effects. What do you mean by truer?
Right, yeah, it doesn't make sense, right? An effect is just an effect, right?
Effects convey information about their causes. Some effects convey that information more faithfully than others. For example, if a rock falls into some mud and creates an indentation, the shape of that indentation will contain information about the shape of the rock. How truly the shape of that indentation portrays the shape of the rock will depend on things like the viscosity and purity of the mud. Analogously, our beliefs and our claims are effects of physics, and depending on the health of our sense organs and brains, those beliefs and claims can portray the things we observe more or less accurately. This is how truth and falsehood are physical phenomena.
It's not true or false, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So if the premise one is that effects of physics can't be truer than other effects, and premise two is all propositions and evaluations are effects, how could we possibly have true or false evaluations or propositions?
The first premise is false. Effects of physics can, in fact, have truth values.
Because we evaluate the effects based on an understanding of the cause.
If evaluations from your view is itself an effect, right? And your premise one is that effects of physics can't be truer than other effects. It makes no sense. But so you're agreeing that evaluations of our brain from our brain are actually effects. So that means when you come to an evaluation or make a truth claim about things, from your view, you have to say that it's an effect of previous physics, in motion.
Yeah, and just as a rock falling into some mud is an effect of physics that can produce an indentation that reproduces the shape of the rock more accurately or less accurately, perceptions, beliefs, and claims that are produced by your brain can portray the things we observe more accurately or less accurately.
Yeah, but see, what you're doing is you're saying it can't be truer, as if truer really means anything, okay? I acknowledge and agree that the different effects, a tornado and an earthquake, are equal because they are both effects of whatever caused them, and they are neither more or less true.
I don't agree. It may be the case that you can get much more information about causes from a tornado than an earthquake or vice versa. One could be more or less true than the other.
Than each other, sure. But we can evaluate those effects, and so we can determine the likelihood of the cause to the...
When I say there's a tornado and an earthquake, and they're both effects of physics, therefore they're neither true or false.
Logically, that doesn't follow.
What I'm saying is that from your view, there really isn't a difference between a tornado and happening and an evaluation happening because they're both direct causes of physics.
They're the same in that specific respect, but that doesn't mean there's no difference between them because there are many different effects of physics. They're not all identical.
What's the delineation between a tornado caused by physics or your evaluation of something in the world caused by physics?
Again, what you're trying to represent, I understand the concept of it, but I believe that you are basically just making an argument out of it through a play of words rather than the reality of the situation.
What's the play of words?
When you're saying that it's neither more true nor false, and it cannot be truer or falser, is a play on an understanding of what is true and false.
You do agree with premise one that effects of physics are not true or false. They just are.
I don't agree with that premise. Effects of physics that convey information about their causes can do so more faithfully or less faithfully. That's true when human brains evaluate something, and it's true anytime information is created, like when a rock falls into some mud and creates an indentation whose shape portrays the shape of the rock.
Effects of physics are, yes, they just are.
Okay, so effects of physics are neither true or false. They just are. Evaluations are effects of physics. How does it not follow that evaluations can't be true or false from that premise?
Evaluations can accurately or inaccurately portray the things they evaluate. That's what it means to say that they are true or false. Evaluations being physical processes in no way contradicts this fact.
It's a different effect of physics.
Well, how is it different if it's strictly physics-based?
Because an evaluation is how we determine if something is true or false, or how we determine if something is likely or unlikely. Or an evaluation is a mental process rather than a physical process.
You said it's a physical process, though. It's the brain doing things. So now we're not physical anymore?
The brain doing things is a physical process. The understanding of it is not.
Yeah, it is. The understanding is just as physical as anything else that happens in the brain.
So the understanding you said is an effect of the physical process, though.
Yes.
Okay, so you're still stuck because if the understanding itself, the very evaluation that's occurring, is an effect of previous physics, it's no different in your view than the tornado.
Yeah, that's why, in a sense, a tornado can have a truth value, or an indentation in some mud can have a truth value. If I say there's a blue jay sitting on a tree branch outside my window, it would be because my eyes are sending signals to my brain that my brain conceptualizes as a blue jay sitting on a tree branch. It's a physical process. Depending on the health of my eyesight and my visual cortex, my knowledge of what blue jays look like, etc., that claim could correspond to an actual blue jay sitting on a branch outside my window, or it may fail to correspond to such a state of affairs. That's what we mean when we say that something is true or not. Why does the claim, belief, perception, or evaluation have to be non-physical in any way for it to correspond or fail to correspond to an actual state of affairs?
Now you're saying, well, no, it's different because we're evaluating stuff. I'm saying no, the very evaluation, according to your own paradigm, is also an effect of physics. And if you agree that effects of physics purely cannot evaluate things, that they just are, they're not true or false, and you also agree that evaluations themselves are effects of physics, you can't get out of the conclusion unless you reject that evaluations are purely caused by physicality.
Why would non-physical evaluations be more capable of having truth values than physical ones? If our evaluations are effects of the phenomena we're evaluating, not only do they seem perfectly capable of having a truth value, they seem more likely to be true. If our evaluations are not effects of the phenomena we're evaluating, what reason do we have to believe that they are accurate? Why would an evaluation that is causally disconnected from the thing being evaluated be more reliable than an evaluation that is causally connected? It seems to me that, in general, the more causally connected an evaluation is to the thing it's evaluating, the more reliable an evaluation it will be.
So evaluations would be caused by physicality, as it's the
so they're not true. Gotcha. So they're effects of physics. And if you agree that effects of physics can't be true or false, then you're basically denying the possibility of knowledge, because that would require something be excessively true or false. And if the descriptions themselves of reality and evaluations of reality are just effects of physics, then they are no different than the tornado, which we both agree cannot be true or false.
I don't agree with that. Tornadoes, because they are effects, can give information about their causes, and thus have a truth value. In fact, it is largely because they are effects that they have a truth value. If evaluations are not effects, if they are causally disconnected from that which they evaluate, then if an evaluation happens to be true, it can only be true by coincidence. The degree to which a true evaluation is causally disconnected from that which it is evaluating is the degree to which it is essentially just a lucky guess. To everyone who helps me out on Patreon, you're a big help. Thanks so much.